topics and opinions expressed in the following show are solely those of the host and their guests and not those of W4CY Radio, its employees, or affiliates. We make no recommendations or endorsements for radio show programs, services, or products mentioned on air or on our web. No liability, explicit or implied, shall be extended to W4CY Radio or its employees or affiliates. Any questions or comments should be directed to those show hosts. Thank you for choosing W4CY Radio.
Welcome to the Ask the Expert show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV, where we bring you educational information from top local experts in the fields of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. Now sit back and listen to experts in family law, association law, hearing loss, business brokers, home care, along with many other topics. Now here are your hosts, Steve-O and Sophia.
Good afternoon, Dallas-Fort Worth. Welcome to another Ask the Expert show, where we bring you the finest experts in the field of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. We do this show to teach you, to educate you in all different areas. Such a great show for you this afternoon. You know, our biggest topic, you would not believe, in every one of our markets is weight loss. So we're going to be talking about weight loss, but we have been inundated by so many of you writing in for this show. This is our Elite Care Clinic show with Dr. Gamboa, and we have got so many questions for her today. Dr. Gamboa, welcome to the show. People love your show. They love your personality, and most of all, they love how you educate people.
Oh, thank you, Steve. Thank you for having me. How are you?
We're doing fine. I'm always looking at the calendar for the last Wednesday of the month. Dr. Gamboa, I just so much enjoy doing your show. You know what? First of all, we've got so many new listeners. Dr. Gamboa, tell people about your practice.
Sure. I'm a primary care physician, and my practice is in Las Colinas in Irving, and it's at 1173 West John Carpenter Freeway, Suite 102, and my phone number is 469-947-6020. So as I mentioned, I do primary care, but I mostly do wellness. I do hormone replacement, weight loss, which is now everywhere. It's like we talk about weight loss, and that's mostly what I do.
I don't know if you remember or not, but I'm actually on the injection myself due to some health issues. And I got to tell you, I am a big baby when it comes to needles. I cannot stand, but I got to tell you, I give myself this injection once a week. I don't even feel it, Dr. Gamboa.
Yes, we use they are pretty good at, number one, you don't see the needles. So for people that are kind of needle phobic, so to speak. So this is have you seen EpiPens? Basically it's like that. So you don't see the needle, and it's an auto injector. So basically you just have to unlock it, clean it, put it, you hear the first click, and later on you hear the second click, and you're done. So they use a very small needle. And a very thin needle, so that's why you barely feel it. So that's the beauty of it.
Dr. Gamboa, we have heard about some side effects, which you hear that about anything. Everybody's body is different. But I was thinking the other day, I just wonder if some of these people who are having side effects, you start off with a smaller dosage and you work your way up. I just wonder if people maybe start off with too high a dosage, thinking it's going to work faster and they'll lose more weight. And I wanted to ask you what you thought what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, most likely they're not using it correctly. Also, as you said, many people are different. So I've seen it all, basically. So people that are going to get sick with the lowest dose, and people that are going to get sick, of course, with the higher doses, or people that they don't have any symptoms regardless. Even if they're in the highest dose, they barely have symptoms, but they lose weight. but they don't have the adverse effects. They have the good effects from like feeling full, like not having hunger, but they don't have any nausea, vomiting, or constipation. So, in the other hand, they're going to be the people that are very sensitive, like with anything. Like it could be your receptors are more sensitive. It could be like your body metabolizes it slower, so you have more medication circulating longer. So definitely, like with any medication, this has its adverse effects. But if we are careful, and as you mentioned, that we have to titrate our way up, and that's why it's important to go ahead and follow up with a doctor or a physician that knows like the weight loss, and they know about possible side effects, and they know all this. Because if you just go to a place, or you just have this online that you think you're just going to get your medication and you're going to refill it without no follow up, that's whenever the patients get problems, because they are not telling them, hey, I'm having constipation, or maybe it was not bad at the beginning, but later on it got worse. And later on, these patients, they end up in the ER because they're having severe pain. Their stomach, their intestines are trying to get rid of all the fecal material that is inside, and they have really, really bad side effects. Or sometimes they have severe vomiting, they have dehydration, they have to go to the ER, they need IV hydration. So we've seen all of these things. But if you are careful enough, like basically, like probably I can say like maybe one or two of my patients, they ended up in the ER, but that was because of like a problems with their gallbladder, but it was
Ah,
not before because of like severe side effects or anything like that. Mostly was because of the gallbladder. Remember, these medications will also cause contractions of your gallbladder. And whenever you have weight loss, you're going to end up having some stones in your gallbladder. So at some point, you may need to have your gallbladder removed, or like if you don't improve your health, your eating habits, you may have problems later on. But that's just what it is.
so Dr. Gambo, first of all, it is definitely working for me. I mean, I definitely endorse it. I know there's different types of injections, or there's different types of manufacturers, pharmaceutical companies that make this injection. Do you have a favorite
Like product, you can say. Like
as to
honestly,
product? I
yeah.
mean,
So I would say like all of them work great. And the thing is, like, I always tell the patients, just think like this. I mean, there's always going to be new generation medications, new generation everything. It's like with your iPhone. iPhone 10 is going to be a little better than the 7. They're going to still be iPhones. They're great. They work great. But this one is going to have like more like bells and whistles than the 7. So it's very similar with this, because if you remember the very first ones like Ozempic, that's for diabetes, and then it's
that's
like
what
what
I'm
we know
taking.
it as, yes, like semaglutide. So this is one type. It's only one peptide. So then they saw that this peptide works great. The more research they were doing, they found out that this other peptide works also great with making your insulin more effective, meaning like decreases the insulin resistance. It also helps with making you feel fuller. So then they added this other peptide in this newer version or newer generation of medication. So the newer medication like Mounjaro for diabetes and Zepbound for weight loss, they are newer generations because they have two peptides instead of one. And of course, just common sense, two is going to work better than one at some point.
Right.
But again, one is super good. It's super effective. I mean, I love both products because, and also you're going to have patients that they tolerate one versus the other better. So it depends on the patients. So it's nothing that
Yes.
it's going to be one for everyone.
It's funny you brought up peptides. Our first question from one of our listeners, Greg in Arlington, he says, please explain peptides to me.
Okay, so like whenever we say peptides, basically the the way to understand in a easier way is that they are um, basically what we call the peptides on the stomach. They're like incretin hormones. What does that mean? That they secrete like this the substances that are going to cause all these other um, effects on our body. For example, if we are talking about the GIP, that's the gastric inhibitory peptide, that's the one that is going to help at different stages of decreasing the food intake, decreasing the making of your liver of like glucagon, that's like making more sugar, like it's going to help at the level of your fatty tissue to like uh, do better. And so many things, they're going to work at the level of your intestines. So the same thing, the GLP-1, that's another peptide, and that is going to work also at different places. It's going to work at the level of your pancreas. It's going to work at the level of your liver. It's going to work at the level of decreasing your hunger hormone. You know, it's going to decrease the gastric emptying, meaning that your stomach is going to empty its contents in more hours compared to people that they don't use this medication. So like peptides, basically it's just this substance that our body makes, and they have like because they circulate in our system, they're going to go on, they're going to go to all these different organs, and they're going to target in there. So that's why whenever we have also peptides, we have receptors, because this peptide has to go into our receptor in order to work, you know. And then what does these medications do? These medications are similar to the peptides that we have. They're like very similar to them, and they are going to go and turn on these receptors. So we are going to have the similar symptoms that the ones that we have in our own intestine and our organs have it. So we are stimulating. So we're decreasing more your hunger hormone. We are like decreasing the gastric motility. So that's what that's how it is. I hope it was.
Yeah, that explains it.
The idea.
Here's one from Jenna in Garland. She said, I tried a topical hormone that did not work for me. If one doesn't work, does that mean none of them will work? But if so, what is one of the best topical hormones for women?
Okay, that's a very good question. And also we have to be a little careful with the topical hormones. So bioidentical hormones, first of all, we have to understand that they are the chemical structure of the hormone is similar to our own hormones. So that's what we do whenever we ask them to compound the creams. But also now we have some like FDA approved estrogen creams that we can use it. So, and then for the topic, for the creams and the topical, we can have an estrogen and testosterone. I do not recommend doing the progesterone, because the progesterone is not going to give you the protection that you need from whenever you're using estrogen. So be very careful at that. So if you're doing estrogen and testosterone, great, you can do that as topical. But if you are doing some estrogen, be very careful and not only do the topical progesterone, because then you can have problems. It doesn't give you the protection. You need to do oral progesterone. And if one didn't work, it's probably the dose was not right. But you definitely need to like check your options, because there's so many ways nowadays. We can do patches, we can do cream, we can do pills. So there's so many things that if one didn't work for you, I'm sure like some other things are going to work, because you will have all the benefits from the hormones.
You know, Dr. Kimbo, it's so important that you see a doctor. So many people that will just walk into a GNC and ask them, give me a pill for this or give me a pill for this. They don't even know what their health issues are. And they just think one pill is going to solve it. And it just doesn't work that way. It's just so important that they see a doctor.
Oh yeah, like also, and remember like what I always tell you. So whenever we're talking about supplements, we definitely have to be very careful. You know, they're very good products. They're very like quality products, but we have to be careful, because remember that unfortunately supplements, they don't have something like the FDA that is going to be overlooking the quality. They're not going to be looking at, for example, like pill number 1000 is going to have the same amount of, or the same concentration that pill number 1 is going to have. So you have to make sure that you go to a reputable place, that they have like either a third party company that are checking or are doing random checks and making sure that also each pill is going to have the same concentration that the label says. So you always have to be careful about where you get your supplements from.
We have Barbara in Lake Highlands. Her and her husband are going to try and get pregnant next year. Should she stay away from the injection, the weight loss injection?
No, like she can do like what I do with a lot of my patients is like she can continue doing the injections until she finds out that she's pregnant. Once she's pregnant, yes, like stop like doing the injections, of course, because there's no studies or anything that the safety. And besides, whenever you're pregnant, I mean, you don't want to restrict your amount of food that you're eating. You need all the calories and all the food to like help you, the nutrients, especially for you and your baby. So, so I would say you can go ahead and continue doing your injections until you want to be at the desired weight. And then after you are done with the delivery, if you plan to breastfeed, go ahead and do that because that also consumes a lot of calories. And then also you can lose your pregnancy weight. And then after you're done, then if you need to, you can restart doing your injections. But there's no contraindication to do it before getting pregnant. It doesn't affect, if anything, like if like you were having like you were being overweight or obese and you were having some problems also with ovulation, then weight loss is going to help you. If you were having some PCOS, weight loss will definitely help you, will induce more ovulation. So if anything, it will help you.
Stacy in North Dallas has a teenage daughter who's overweight. She wants to know what is the earliest a teenager can start taking the injection.
Oh, that's a very good question. Like, so like nowadays, like the injections are approved. I believe, like, let me double check that with Wegovy because like nowadays it is approved for pediatric patients. So that is the beauty of it. Yes. So that is the one that we are using in our younger population. And now like even like Wegovy has been approved even as young as 12 years of age. So before it was only 18 and above, but now like they had like studies and now it has been approved for 12 and older. So I have patients that are 16 and they are on Wegovy.
This is Cindy in Dallas. I seem to be losing my hair. What causes hair loss?
That's a very excellent question. And there can be many, many things. So if you are, first of all, I don't know your age, but like depending on the age, you can be also like a combination of perimenopause if you are in that age. Another reason could be that you lost weight so fast that is one of the major reasons for why you're going to be losing hair. The other one is if your iron is low, that you're going to be losing hair. If your thyroid is not working well, you're going to be losing hair. So, and the very like not rare, but it's less common one is whenever you have a genetic form that again your mom, your grandma, everyone, all the females had like a male pattern hair loss. Then that's another option. But the most common ones are iron deficiency, thyroid, hormones, and weight loss.
You've got so many things, Dr. Gamboa. If someone is having problems, especially with weight, you've got so many different ways to treat them. I hope people understand that if you're having a weight issue, don't walk into a GNC and ask them for a pill. We're going to be giving Dr. Gamboa's phone number out in just a second. I want to go to my last questions. Lucy in Arlington. My daughter is having trouble concentrating. What can I do about that?
That is a good question. And also, like, again, like it would help if I know the daughter's age because there can be many things, like if like
She's
if
16.
16. Okay. So like it could be like not usually like hormonal, but that can play a role. So we have to make sure that her hormones are pretty good. She's not having any like abnormal periods. Then also we have to make sure that her thyroid is working well, because whenever your thyroid is and you're not working well, you're in the hypothyroid, your concentration, everything is like in slow motion, like, so you're not thinking well, so it's more slower. So we have to definitely see that. The other thing is she anemic? And that's why it's important to know about her periods, because if her periods are very heavy, she's losing a lot of blood, her iron levels could be low, she's anemic. That's why she's not able to concentrate, because she gets tired. She cannot hold on like focus for longer. And obviously the last thing after like making sure that all the labs are okay, then the next thing is, okay, like, are we talking about ADD? Are we talking about this like a lack of concentration? So like that would be like, if everything else like in the part of like the organic part, like the labs, she's not having iron deficiency, thyroid, everything is perfect in her, then I would recommend go ahead and get tested for a possibility of ADD.
Well, Dr. Gamboa, this show always goes by so fast.
I know.
Let's give everybody your phone number and also your website address.
Sure. Like the phone number is 469-947-6020. And the web address is like www.elitecare-clinic.com.
Dr. Gamboa, we are so lucky to have you. Tell your friends, write us, and you can text us at 954-336-3767. We love your questions. Keep them coming in. Great questions today, Dr. Gamboa.
Oh,
and
yes.
Your great responses. We will see you again the last Wednesday at 4:25 each month. Dr. Gamboa, thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. It's Dr. Gamboa. She's such an incredible physician. She has a wellness physician. And again, you can reach her at 469-947-6020. The name of the clinic is Elite Care Clinic. That's it for us today. We'll be back again with you next Wednesday with more Ask the Experts.
Thanks for tuning in today to the Ask the Experts show on W4CY Radio and Talk4 TV. Tune in next week and every week to hear more from our experts on personal injury, insurance, air condition repairs, estate planning, Medicare, and many other topics in the areas of legal, health, financial, and home improvement. See you next week.